guys, what is up? Welcome back to Gals on the Go podcast. It's Brooke
and Danielle back at it again. Happy Wednesday, you guys. We have a great episode for you all.
Great episode. We're talking to Emma today, who I was like, what are we talking about? I was like, we're talking to Emma. She's the best. She is pretty much who helps us with everything Gals on the Go brand. Mm-hmm. Any of the visual elements you see, or if you go to our Instagram page, any of that you see has been designed by Emma. She's been with us for almost 3 years now.
So crazy. She's seriously the best human ever. And I feel like we always talk about her on the podcast, or like when we did the virtual live show, she was there reading all the questions. And so many people were like, who's Emma? We want more Emma. We want to learn about her. Because
Show Emma.
She's self-taught. And she's just an amazing human being. So she just left the studio. We just had her in. Mm-hmm. She's awesome. So if you guys want to check out her Instagram, it's at esm.creative. And I also wanted to do a little plug for her because she's doing this amazing retreat, you guys, in Austin, Texas in May. And there are still some spots open. So you can find out more on her Instagram, which is at esm.creative. It's for creatives. She's got some great sponsors for the retreat. And we're so proud of her. So
proud.
If that's of interest.
Amazing event.
Yes.
So we are really, really happy to be here today with her, obviously. But we also are coming off of such a fun weekend. The gals went to the mountains. The gals experienced it all. And you've gone on like cabin trips, but I guess not in the north.
Yeah, Ryan and I loved going on little cabin getaways. We did a couple in Georgia. So this definitely reminded me of that, but I've never been to we went to Pennsylvania, the Poconos Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
I've never Poconos Mountains. And it was so fun. It was so funny because the first night we got there, I guess we just showed each other. We didn't show anyone else since we got a lot of DMs. Are you guys just having little gals weekend?
Yeah.
Even Delaney, I FaceTimed her last night and she was like, I thought it was just you and Brooke, honestly. And then I saw Ryan's hand.
Yeah, no, I tried to show some hands in there too. And we took really cute pics. So we both brought our boyfriends.
No, it was such a good time. So we basically got to go to the Greenlight Lodge in Poconos Mountains in Pennsylvania. It was a little bit over 2 hours outside of the city. Her boyfriend drove us in his car, which was really, really kind. We had a little road trip. We got in late Friday night and we stayed 2 nights. They're amazing. They're on Airbnb if you guys want to check them out. It was just the perfect cabin for us.
It was a really good size, and there was actually an additional room with bunk beds. So if anyone wants to stay there, it's you hear Greenlight Lodge, you might think it's like a resort or something. It's this private Airbnb in a really safe community. So we felt really good about that. And the drive, like we said, pretty much exactly 2 hours from New York City. A really nice drive. And once you get a little bit north, it's a really pretty drive.
Yeah,
a lot of nature,
so much nature, mountains. We saw deer.
We did. And I feel like going back in the summer would be really nice to this place because they had a lot of summer activities. Yeah,
that would have been nice.
Or the fall.
I know. We literally want to go back. Greenlight Lodge, will you have us back?
Yeah, because it was super, super fun, but it was definitely icy, so we didn't really get to we're we're gonna explore, but everything was covered in this sheet of ice, so we were slipping around. We have videos of the boys skating with their sneakers on.
It was so funny. I have to say, I was the only one who brought pure snow boots. I don't know what's happening there with all my northerners.
Well, you said you're I'm gonna bring my boots, but I do have to if I wasn't gonna wear them in the car because they just didn't go with my outfit, and then I was I don't have room to pack them. They're heavy. I was trying to think about packing efficiencies too, because I didn't want to show up with too much. It was only 2 nights.
I know,
but yet I was still I wish I packed warmer clothes just because there's a chill in the air there, and we know I run cold. So I was wearing my one sweatsuit the whole time, and I didn't even care because we were all super chill.
It was so cozy, and there was a downstairs real fire that you could build, and then there was an upstairs outside gas fire or fire pit, and then inside there was another gas fire place. It was so cozy. We pretty much had that thing going at all times. Obviously when we left, we turned it off, but it was so lovely. It was so much fun. And so Ryan and I had the room upstairs, and then Brooke and Ben had the room downstairs. We were laughing because when we all went to bed, I could literally hear them laughing so hard, and we were like, oh boy, these walls are thin. So
I thought you heard I was what are they hearing? Because you said that, and then I was oh god, what happened? But we were just laughing.
No, it was when we first decided, okay, we're going to bed, and you guys were, you have you're a laughy person. So
I'm loud laugher.
A loud laugher. So I immediately was dot.
Yeah, you did.
You
said it. I heard Danielle's voice. These walls are very thin. And
I literally was speaking to the floor.
Were you?
Yeah. Well, it was so funny because I didn't realize. I was in my head, I was this is kind of perfect. Our room's upstairs, their room's downstairs. I did not realize.
Right on top.
Where our head lays is where their heads laid.
When you're the second morning, or the last morning when we woke up. So I guess after the second night, when the alarm went off. Like your alarm was so loud, I thought it was in my room. Like I was like, did you leave your alarm on?
It's because
like,
the walls or the ceilings were so thin, and well, I mean, not the ceilings were thin, but you guys know what I mean. It's because I set my alarm, and Ryan was like, I'm gonna set it for the same time, and I was like, why? Why don't you do it like a couple minutes after? Like, there's no point. And it was so loud, so it was like mine and his was like, rah, rah. I don't know how people do alarms like that. I really don't, but I know some people literally.
Do you
just
do
can't wake
Hatch?
up. Yeah.
I started doing it, and
It's
is
so lovely.
incredible. What a wake up.
Oh, do you do like the sunrise so it
Yeah.
like slowly gets lighter? What sound do you do? I do like the melody.
Oh, I did I switched it to because my boyfriend and I heard, what were we were somewhere and we heard a sound bowl, or no, we were like in a store and they had sound bowls.
The meditation.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, I love sound bowls. So then I kind of like at first did it as a joke. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make my Hatch like the sound bowls sound. And now I'm like, I kind of love it because it wakes you up, it goes ding dun dun.
I should do that
ding,
one.
but it's like light dings.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's very like, it sounds like you're like in a like a tranquil like resort.
and you're like, oh, I'm just being awoken.
but you
from
wake
my
up from the
meditation.
first one. Yeah.
That's
You
amazing.
get to pick it because at first I did rain and stuff, but then I was like, I don't really like to wake up to rain.
No, it's
and
like, oh, it's a
stuff.
rainy day. That kind of sucks. Because like I remember, especially in college, like when you like had to get up and go to class, it's like, or for a lot of people like work, when you wake up and you hear rain, you're like, it's gonna be a bad day. Like
Yeah, or I don't know. And I like nature, but not that much. So this is actually it's a good sound for me. I'll say that.
That makes complete sense. Yeah, no, not sponsored, either of us. And I've seen them work with influencers, so they should work with us because we love our Hatch alarms.
Oh yeah.
They're amazing. But yeah, I almost change it to the bird sound because I feel like the sound of birds, but I don't know if that will wake me up. I think it would, like chirp, chirp, chirp.
I feel like it would. I feel like that would be effective.
Maybe I'll try it.
That was under like, they have like tabs, and that was under like the morning sounds category. But I don't really use it for the unwind feature, but I guess I should.
Oh, I prefer that at
Really?
night when I get into bed to read. I tap it and it does 30 minutes of how I curated it. So I had it does a red light and then this like peaceful piano. So you should set that up. It's a vibe, and it only does. It's not like every night because you go to bed different times every night.
That's the thing.
But you
Like,
just tap it
yeah.
and it starts.
Love that.
Love it.
I was gonna say, because how do they know like you're in bed? You know, like how does that for
it
sure?
doesn't. So that'd be pretty good technology if it did. But oh my gosh. So yeah, the trip was really, really fun. We like initially had told the boys, okay, we're gonna plan an itinerary. Don't worry. And then the time came and we were like, it just kind of sounds fun to like hang out in the cabin. And there was a game room with so many games.
So, and Katie, our friend Katie Bellotti, she went, and I was texting her about it the day before, and she's like, make sure you use the game room. And I was like, oh yeah, like the communal game room, like, you know, that's like outside of the house, because there's like, it's like in a community
center,
yeah. She's like, no, like it's in the house. And I was like, oh well, I was already planning on bringing my own games.
Yeah. You got games?
You got any games? I brought Bananagrams, Cards Against Humanity, and Taboo, but we only played Cards Against Humanity. That game,
very popular game.
Ran it up. I think we did every single, like, it comes like the black cards are like the question cards and the white cards are like the answer cards.
Yeah.
I think we did every single question card. Like we ran
all
through the
black
whole
cards.
pack. Yeah.
It was so nice too, because I feel like there's times when you're playing games and some people like the game more than others. But every time we'd be like, oh, should we play Cards Against Humanity? Everyone's eyes lit up.
Yeah,
we
we were
let's
like, yes.
go to the couch. It was so wholesome. Like the first night we got there, they had left a bottle of Prosecco for us. So we popped
Very
it.
wholesome.
Drank
We got in
that.
late too,
We got
really.
in really late. It was
a late night. By the time we like put our stuff in our rooms, whatever, we were like, all right, game time.
I know, it was so funny. But then we have this joke because Brooke is an Aries and then the three of us are all Virgos, me, her boyfriend, and Ryan. And so, but honestly, like, so you guys know I like to be doing things a lot, but I learned both of our boyfriends like literally can't sit still.
I don't know if it was because they were like together,
Feeding
or
off
if
of each
because
other.
whatever. It was nuts. Like I've never seen anything quite like this, and we knew it was going to be a relaxing weekend. That was like, you know, the theme of the weekend was like, we're going in nature, we're gonna like, we have these activities we want to do, we have games, we're not gonna necessarily get bored, but chill time.
Yeah, like we'll hang on the couch and play a game, or we will cook. That's
or we'll, you know, sit around and drink wine and talk. Like it's like we
fire.
had loose activities.
Yes.
S'mores. Like
Yeah.
it was like, it wasn't, those are relaxing activities. Those
Yeah.
aren't like, now we're gonna go like run a marathon and like, and then we're gonna shotgun and then we're gonna, you know.
It was so funny. So then it just became this joke because the boys would be like, okay, so what's the next activity? Like we'd do something and then it's like, okay, now what?
It wouldn't even be a beat between the two. Like it would
Nope.
be like, so we come inside from like the s'mores and like, what's next? What's
Yeah,
next?
like, are we doing Cards
What's
Against
next?
Humanity? Are we eating ice cream? Like, what's the next thing? It was so funny. Like,
So
at one
funny.
point, like, the three of us were sitting on the couch, and then we look outside, and Ryan couldn't like just sit, so he's like plowing the snow for no reason, or like
I know, we do look over at him like he was like doing the stairs at one point. I was like, I mean, that's very productive, but
yeah,
like
but he just doesn't. Or like we'd look over and your boyfriend would like pull out his computer because
yeah,
he could talk for 1
we
second.
were taking pictures of each other, and like at one point I was like, why are you on your computer? Like I knew he didn't have to work, and he was like, well, you guys are busy like doing your thing,
Just
and I was
sit there for a second.
yeah, I was like, please.
It was so funny. So it just became this joke, and we'd be like, okay, the next activity, we're gonna make the cheese board. Like
It was next activity into next activity. Like,
so
but the game room was very fun downstairs. They had shuffle. I've never played shuffleboard.
shuffleboard. There was darts. We brought the fireball down there. It was like
Oh,
such
yeah.
an ideal, cool man cave vibes. So we
Very
like
cozy. Very
played
cozy.
loud music and just like had a really fun time. It was very wholesome. That's the only way to like put that weekend. I feel we went for a little nature walk. We went and saw the lake. It was basically frozen over. Which also made us want to go back in the summer because there was like a little beach area. So I think that would be really fun in the summer.
I really would love to. I like a lake sort of vibe. Yeah, we walked. The walk we did was super cute. We went to a nice dinner the first night. It was just a really good time. The boys got along great. I mean, we knew that they like got along. They had hung out like plenty of times before that. But like at one point they're playing chess. Like it was very wholesome. Yeah.
And we thought we were so funny. So they were completely silent. And I know like with chess, it's a
Danielle
focus-friendly-
thought this was funny.
Okay, yeah, I thought I was.
To be clear.
You were laughing too. We were a little tipsy at this point.
Yeah.
So the game room was downstairs, and we went up to make the cheese board for the next activity. And literally, I had the Bluetooth speaker downstairs. So all of a sudden, we hear like it was like a kind of sexual song. Because I just had it on like 2015 hip hop or something.
Yeah.
And so we were like dying laughing. We were like, oh my gosh, this music is just playing.
And they're like literally seriously like looking at each other. Like we would like peep down the stairs, and they're like very seriously.
Yeah,
like,
it was
getting
literally
after
like
it.
songs like birthday sex.
Yeah.
It wasn't that, but it was stuff like that. And so I'm like, oh my god, what's something funny I could play? So the first thing that came to my mind was a SpongeBob theme song. So I press play, and you hear from the downstairs, who
lives in a pineapple? But they didn't like they didn't yell up and say it
No.
like Danny. Like they didn't like say
They
anything.
just
They
kept
just kept playing. Can you imagine? And then we said to them, we're like, did you guys hear it? They're like, yeah, but like we're pretty into the
Yeah,
game,
they're like,
so.
sure, yeah. They had no effect over it, but I thought it was very funny. We should have done pranks. That would have been funny.
Something that I think you didn't expect that I wanted to bring up was the competitive nature that I hold.
Oh my gosh. We were playing Cards Against Humanity, and Brooke was like, how many cards do you guys have? How many cards? How many cards now? Especially between her and her boyfriend.
Well, he eggs me on too. Like he'll
you guys
be
were
like,
going
yeah,
tit for tat with that. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even counted my cards.
and we'd like intentionally not choose each other. People are gonna be like, this is unhealthy, but it's like in a joking way. But
No, it
would
was
be
so
like,
cute.
Yeah.
It was also so cool, like seeing you, because like we've gone to events like all together and stuff,
Yeah,
and we've
yeah,
done
yeah.
double dates, but like seeing you in a relationship is just a whole new
I was
book.
gonna say that must be very odd for you.
It was
because, yeah.
weird. It's like
I was
seeing your
gonna say-
sister in a relationship, and I was like like you said that you call him this one thing, and I was like,
say it. You can say
oh my god.
it,
Okay, well
'cause
we're
it's
in
a
the car.
roast, it's a roast.
Okay, I'll say it. We're sitting in the car, and mind you, we had already been like talking a couple weeks ago about like different words to call your boyfriend, and she told us another word she called him, and we were like, oh, that's so funny. Didn't know what.
This is a good question for the listeners to pose. Like, you know, do you find it like icky when it could be anything, when anyone calls their significant other like a pet name, like, you know what I mean, like whatever, babe.
I think babe's pretty safe. Not safe, but it's
no,
pretty
it's
general.
in the scheme of them. Like that's
Yeah.
okay. I've been freaking disgusting with what I'm calling. Like I'm really bad. It's been bad, guys.
It's so funny though to see you in this like endearing way.
I'm not
We're
like
sitting in the
that.
car, and she was asking me a question. She was like, sweetie, why did you do that? And I was like,
know why
I lost it. And he thought I was laughing about something else.
And then he starts laughing. Yeah, because then we start laughing and we're all laughing. And then Danielle goes, do you even know what I'm laughing at or something? And
Yeah.
he goes, oh, yeah, like the other thing. And she was
I
like,
was like, no, you
because
just
she
passed.
just
We're gonna
called you
pass by the
that."
fact Brooke just called you sweetie. Again, we were cooking one of the nights.
I know.
Oh my god! It literally gives me the ick. I literally couldn't handle
got the
it.
ick for
We were
me.
making the chicken piccata, and you were like holding the lid for him, and the oil started spilling
I
on your.
was
You were
like-
like, sweetie, it's getting hot, and I was like,
I'm in tears because I do it as like a defense mechanism to not get mad too. Like in that case,
so it's
I
like,
was in the first case it was endearing. In that case, I was like doing it because I'm like, if I don't use an endearing word right now, like this is gonna get dirty. Because like I
It's
open
gonna get
it,
dirty.
like, and literally like oil splashes on my leg. I'm like,
sweetie.
like
so
because
funny.
I was I'm sorry. People are gonna think I'm.
You're very communicative, though. I noticed. Like, you would always say, like, we'd be in the car, like, would you like me to help you with that? Would you like me to help you with that? You're very communicative with him.
Oh, you think?
I noticed this. Like, very, obviously, really helpful. You've always been a really helpful person, but it was so. There were times I was like, oh my god, I just like can't. I don't know why, because like obviously one of my best friends, but it was so.
You got the ick. Danielle got the ick from
it was
me.
So strange, or like. I don't know. You guys are definitely more touchy, I think, than me and Ryan. Like,
but you were also new in a relationship.
No,
I'm sure that in the beginning you guys might have.
Yeah, well, in like public situations, like Ryan, like just I would like more PDA, but he's not a big PDA guy. Not they're not making out on the couch.
No.
But
we
like,
don't kiss, but we'll like.
Be like,
and not even hold hands. It's more so like touching each other, like in the other ways. Because I don't really like to hold hands. It's also awkward. Like we have different arm lengths, and then I'm like, he's like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
no,
you know? But I'm more so like a. Like
you guys did a lot
arm.
of like grabbing your heads, I noticed.
Oh, really?
Or like maybe he would come up to you, like we'd be in the kitchen and he just walks over to you and
like touching each other, like light hugs and stuff. Like no, honestly, I don't even think we kissed in front of you once. Like maybe once.
No, I
not really like that.
That's fine. It was just more like because we always joke like Brooke like doesn't like to touch people, so like for me to see you, I mean that just means like you really like them, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was just it was just a whole new world for me. I was like, oh my god. But then I was like thinking about it because like obviously your parents are so in love, and so like you've seen the way they act too, and like that's just what it's just so cute. Like the sweetie thing was hilarious.
That is
sweetie.
I just gave myself the ick by saying it sounds like I'm like a housewife. Like that actually says that. Okay, he says it back to me. I'll say it. Like. Damn, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to roast. Like it's not like I'm out here just saying.
No, it was like a mutual
reciprocated.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it started. I mean, it's gross. I'll call myself out for it, guys. You know what? One thing that I won't cave. Kissing pictures, still a no in my book. Boom.
Oh,
I said it.
There you go. Yeah, that would be pretty hypocritical if all of a sudden you're like,
now I started.
And now we make out on camera. That'd be funny. Yeah. I like it. I've already said this. I like a kiss on the cheek in a photo for sure.
In my opinion on honestly, like PDA has changed too. Cause I think if you like the person, you're not like, if you're attracted to them, like you want to be like touchy and stuff. And it also like, I know his love language is physical touch. So it, to me.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So that, I think a lot of guys it is.
Yeah.
What is Ryan's not?
I would say it's acts of service. Or
you
to
give him acts of service or him to give you, because
I never understand that. Okay. You're right.
Okay, so like what do they prefer to receive and what do they prefer to give?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like
okay, so he definitely prefers to give acts of service.
Yes.
But receives I have to find that out.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I would say the same for my boyfriend. Like he helped me put together my couch. Yeah. And I love when guys put together furniture for me. So
yeah.
But he definitely he made it. We did like the test together, and he was like, "Oh, I got like on one of our early dates, and he got physical touch." And I was like, okay, like, and he was like, yeah, that's like really important to me. Not, once again, not making out, not whatever, but just like a light touch of reassurance or something. Like a hand on the leg. And not like the whole time, when he's driving, like I'll touch him sometimes, but it's not like the whole time I'm just glued and like rubbing and like,
No, that would be really out of character.
Yeah.
That'd be a full rebrand. I'd be like, what's happening?
Yeah.
No. I just like had to bring it up.
No,
it was so sweet. Sweet.
Really?
Yeah, it was sweet. It was honestly, you were a different human in the best way. I was like,
that's good.
Not with me. Like we
still shit on each other though. Like
who? You and him?
Yeah. Like I'll still get like it's still my personality.
I felt bad. I was starting to really roast him. We started to really roast him about certain things.
Oh, we just went into a circle of roasting.
Well, because he has this like sense of humor where I literally never know if he's kidding, and so I'm like, I would look to you to be like, is it a joke? Yeah. And you're like, I don't know. So then we would just like roast him right back, and he handled it well. It was really funny. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
No, it is. Some people just, and that's another thing, like learning personalities. Like some people, like they'll give it to you all day, so you have to give it back to them. You know what I mean? So kind of like if if people will, like I feel like we have more so like the relationship where we'll casually like not shit on each other, but like we'll be like, oh, like bright sweater today or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And it's like you're at that, you're like fine with that. Like you have to be able to do that.
And with him, you just need to throw it back, I think.
Oh, yeah. Throw it back.
Humble him. Keep him humble.
Keep him humble.
Yeah.
Oh
no, I guess I've never seen you and Ryan. I've seen you guys, obviously, once again, but you learn a lot about people on trips. So I learned a lot about you guys, too. And I think it was just very clear the difference between, like, 3-year relationship, because you guys are literally celebrating your 3-year.
I know.
And 3-month relationship.
I know,
like, it was so very clear.
I was having, like, they were downstairs. Like, we had taken an olive break. Like, Ryan and I were sitting out by the fire. We come in. You guys were, like, napping or whatever. And Ryan and I are like sitting on the couch. He like got work. Like he has to work. He's working and I'm like watching and venting. And I'm like, so we're the married couple and they're like on their honeymoon. It was just really funny. Like, and that, like you said, it's just like a contrast.
We're in the honeymoon phase. I mean, 100%. Like I know that so for sure. Like it's,
but also like it's not like you, like that'll continue. Like it's not like, oh, we're honeymoon, it's never gonna happen again.
Yeah.
It's just, like it gets infused differently. So it was fun.
Wow, we just shared a lot of intimate details.
I know. I didn't plan it. We were just gonna like talk about the activities, but it was such a good time.
Such a good time.
I think we all like made a really great team. Like everyone kind of knew their strengths and weaknesses too. Like
everyone really picked up the slack
like
for others.
Ryan's like he like literally just cooks chicken and rice every day. He doesn't really know much else. So like he would like go plow the snow off the stairs and like we would be cooking, or like I don't know. I feel like everyone had their different like strengths and weaknesses throughout the trip.
I think
like,
so too.
You and I would just keep talking in our voice. They're such great champs. Like we'd be like, okay, the gals want to go do this now, boys. Like it was so funny, and they're just such great
funny
guys. And we watched. Honestly, I had so much fun. We all watched Kitchen Nightmares the last night.
Yeah, that was the last time we watched like this one episode. We like are looking it up to see if it's still open.
Yeah,
like,
we were
this
all
place.
Like dying laughing watching that. And
it was very funny. And Cards Against Humanity the first night. I mean, it was so fun the second, but like when you fresh open that box and it's a box of surprises and you're like, ooh, like I want to order the expansion packs now. I loved it that much.
I know. It's a shame because I was saying like, I feel like it's really hard to play Cards Against Humanity at a pregame because you honestly have to focus.
Well, yeah, because you can't, like, it's easy. A quick way to play would be just pick the funniest card, but you really should pick a funny card that fits into.
And it's like you got to pick a new card every time.
Yeah, it's a sit down game.
And it's hard to be like, hey guys, you want to come over for game night? Like, I definitely want to get to that level, but I feel like at our age, it's like, okay, let's like go to dinner. And so you wouldn't necessarily bring Cards Against Humanity. So I think it was just a nice surprise for all of us to be able to like sit in a home and play Cards Against Humanity, have a lot of space. We kept saying like, wow, this couch is so big.
Even where we would like look up at the room and be like, look how high the ceilings are.
Yeah, I know. Like, look, there's stars outside. Or it was
so
cool.
quiet at night. It was so quiet.
Oh, I got the best sleep I've gotten in so long because you're not woken up by like sounds of the city, which I'm not complaining. Love the city.
It was very cozy. It was just cute. I want to do more stuff like that. And I think it's very, very fun to do it. Like we were like the connectors in that case. And it's so special for us, I think, because like obviously we're such good friends and like bringing together other people that, you know, that are so important to us. Like it's so special.
It was so fun. I'm so, like you said, I'm so thankful that we got to do that. So
more to
come. We had invited like a couple other couples, but they couldn't come.
It wouldn't have worked though, because honestly that bunk bedroom, like I would have felt bad for a couple in that room.
No, yeah, it was like another bed with 4 bunk beds, and obviously we were so like, okay, so we get the beds.
Yeah.
So that would have just been like annoying for them, but and like we said that we were like, okay, it will be the bunk bedroom. So, but I think it just worked out just
and it was
fine.
good because if we probably wouldn't have been able to fit more people and the stuff in the car. So it just like it would, we
brought groceries there. Brooke Instacarted or Fresh Direct. Amazon Fresh. So that was really easy. It was just a whole vibe. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little recap.
Yeah,
the gals recap the cabin trip.
The gals.
It was really, really fun. It was just such a nice little reset. And it was so cool, like driving. Then we're driving back into the city, and you can see the skyline. And Brooke, all of a sudden, I hear Empire State of Mind. She goes, "This one's for you, Danny."
Because I said no one loves New York more than Danielle. Like she does.
It's so funny though, because it is so special. Like when you're pulling in, like I know probably a lot of you guys when you travel into the city, when you see the skyline, it's just it's warm and fuzzy. You're like, "Whoa, I'm here!" Like every time. So. Yeah, and we're about to do some traveling. I'm about to leave for Florida to go home for a few days to see my brother. And Ryan's coming with me, and then I'm coming back, and then we're heading on another trip together. So lots of fun travel content
so much coming up. Yeah, and I think we'll talk more about that next week.
Yes, next week's going to be travel spring break vacation themed.
Get your
sunblock and
your sunblock and
I've never said sunblock before, but it just felt right.
Yeah, sunglasses and tanning lotion, and we'll meet you there next.
We'll meet you there next Wednesday.
Speaking of which, if you're watching the video, I'm extremely tan right now because I self-tanned because I thought I was potentially going to an event tomorrow that don't think I'll be going to. So
that'll be for another episode.
That will be for next week's episode. So.
Hey, well, you look like a glowy queen. So
thank you. It's just jarring when like one person's really tan and the other's not. Like,
gosh, I'm getting a spray tan literally tonight, so hopefully we'll be on the same vibe. I cannot wait. I love a good tan.
Yeah. No, I feel great right now. I just was like, I was so motivated last night. I like whitened my teeth. I was like self tanning, and I was like, I was like, ooh, I'm getting ready. And then this morning it was like, never mind, like back it up. Like,
we've all had moments like that where it's like you're all
you
ready.
think you're doing something
and you're like, well, I guess I need to go to dinner or something.
Yeah.
Like you definitely should still like go to dinner or do something.
Yeah,
fun.
no, I've been keeping myself busy.
Yeah, I'm not worried about you.
I wanted to say something. This has no effect on you. I just
you have
it
has to be said.
It has to be said. One of my first friend. This is my first friend. Period. Got engaged this week.
Yes.
So crazy.
It's happening. It's infiltrating.
I think I'm just like in that season of life now. One of my best friends from high school. Like I have 8 girlfriends. Like I'm one of the 8, but so I have 7 girlfriends that like we're still besties. Like have a group text, whatever. I just can't believe I'm in that phase of life now.
So crazy.
You haven't hit it yet, right? Because you don't have any engaged.
No,
like,
none of my like really close. There's girls that like I was friends with. I'm like, oh, they're engaged or literally married now, but not like your group chat.
That's what I'm saying. I know there's people in my pledge class. People we went to college with. Mostly
is the real
college.
deal.
This is the first one from home.
That's so exciting.
I'm just like, I'm so happy for her. It's not like such a, oh my God, I'm shocked. Like
it's just like it's happening though. It's like
it's happening.
It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah,
girl,
I know, and I'm just so happy for her and everything. Oh
I know.
My God.
That'll be fun. All the wedding activities and stuff. I'm excited for her. I don't even know her, but I'm excited for her.
Yeah, so I guess age 24 to 25, it's really happening. Yeah, she's 25. So
it was so funny. Also, I am exposing him, but the other day we never even talked about when we were talking about like how marriage like it costs a lot of money, and Ryan was like, I thought you just had to pay for the ring.
Yeah, it was so funny because then I'm talking about my friend. I'm like, wow, she's really getting into it because basically once you get engaged, you guys might know you can have a long engagement for sure, but it starts, then you have the engagement party, and then you have obviously prepping for the wedding, getting all of the vendors. Even if you're having a small wedding, it's still extremely
bridal
costly.
Shower, photographer, honeymoon plans, depending on what scale you decide to go.
But even if you go small scale with all of this stuff, it is just and on top of the ring. So then we were talking about all this stuff, and I'm like, well, once you do that, it pretty much just starts. And Ryan,
he literally
turned around and he's like
he was not listening. I thought
he was like, what other costs besides the ring?
He was like, I remember he was like, I thought that was just like a fixed cost you set aside for. And me and Brooke are just like, oh no. I
was like, that's just the beginning. Like,
it's so funny. His head just went up like a puppy.
It's not like you owe the money right away, but it's just like I feel like once that starts, like, and then people are pressuring you, like, what's the date? So then you have to go look at venues or like figure out what the plans are. Like, it's very like. Once you're engaged, it happens.
Yeah, and we're going to a wedding for our friend Sarah.
Yes! Oh my gosh, we both have to save the dates on our
fridge, a little magnet.
So cute.
And that's someone who we've known for so long and definitely is a true great friend, and that's in Nashville. So I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. And that'll be like a good excuse for a Nashville trip too.
Oh yeah, I've packed my cowboy hat already. Ooh. I'm sure I could see her doing something with cowboy hats in her wedding.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so cute because she's just like killing it right now with oh my God, because she does all of she actually is one of the people who gets me excited to like one day far in the future whenever I do get engaged to wear only white, like because I want to wear white everything. Like I want to just go to like parties and be like wearing a white dress and be like I'm a bride to be, like like
yeah, she does.
And she does a lot of like outfits and like outfit inspo and stuff, and she gets me like I love it for her.
She always links like here's a good bridal shower dress or here's a good guest of the bridal shower dress, or like she just
and
knows how to get you.
Well,
you should check out her highlights. Maybe you can find like an engagement party dress or something like for your friend or
no, for my friend. I was like,
you're like, what?
I have a long. I was like,
no, like for like the stuff for your friend. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I could. You're so right.
I'm sure she's got resources. So.
No, because then I'm asking. I'm like, what do I like? Like this is my first friend too. I've had cousins and like family. I'm going to another family wedding and then Sarah. But this is the first one that I'm like, oh wait, they got engaged. I should send a gift. I'm like, what do I send? I was like, what do I
literally
we won't
bring that back.
Literally traumatizing. What do I?
I don't know. I know there's wedding registries, but like
they don't have one yet. They just got engaged.
Do you send a gift for engagement?
Or you mean when you go to the party? If you're really good friends with them, you do.
Oh my God. I mean, I would send one. I just don't know. Like I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Is it champagne vibes? Is it flowers?
That's what I was thinking, but they don't live together currently, so it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be addressed to both of them at the time. I feel like that would be more like the wedding gift vibe.
Yeah,
would be like a toaster, like whatever it may be. Like no, because I feel like that's like wedding registry vibes, or like China. Maker. Yeah. Dishware, whatever it is.
Yeah, oh my God, wedding registries. Oh my God, I like love wedding stuff
Me
so
too.
much. I watch so many wedding videos.
27 dresses is
I literally almost watched that earlier today when I was getting ready.
Oh, such a great movie.
It's so good. Oh my gosh, wow.
Should we share our fave quickly?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God.
Let's do it.
What's yours?
You're just gonna laugh, but I pulled exact names, and I know that they're a favorite for you as well. So there are two. So there's two different types of shoes. So when we were, I think I might have talked about it, but when Ryan's parents were here, I like had these super cute snow boots, and I was so excited about it. And they literally had no traction at all. They're really, really cute, but I was just so embarrassed because I was slipping everywhere. So I was like, I need to get true snow boots. Because when I asked you guys what snow boots to get, everyone said Sorels, and I just kind of like didn't listen. And I'm glad I finally listened. So I have two pairs of shoes to talk about. So my Sorel Brex lace boots, I got them on Free People. They're black with like a cream bottom. So comfortable. I literally wore them to dinner. I was able to walk up the snow. Like when we pulled up to the cabin, they were all like slipping, and I was like, here I go. Like,
trekking through. Yeah.
I was really happy. So I hope it's supposed to get in the city so I could wear them. And then also we both have the same pair, the Merrell Moab Speed Gore-Tex. We were thriving in those shoes this weekend.
I know. We're about to post. I mean, we're doing sponsored posts for them. We're about to post them, but like genuinely, like these are staying front and center in my closet. Like they literally will be, anytime that I have anything remotely, like I will be on a path and not like the road.
Like outdoor hiking.
These are perfect. I mean, honestly, even in the snow, they were great.
They were so perfect in the snow. I think they're categorized as like hiking, walking shoes, but like the boys were like slipping every now and then, and we're just like trekking through.
We have videos of us versus them. It's actually hysterical.
It was so funny. No, so they're just like, and they're so comfortable. Like I just
they're super cute.
They're so cute. We wore them with like our leggings and our white crew socks. So just such a vibe. I have to shout out both of those shoes because I know it's snowy and a lot of places still are icy. So yeah,
I want to go on like a little mini like hiking something or other with that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, down.
Yeah. Anyways, so what else should we talk about? Oh,
What's
my
your
favorite. My favorite. I've been on a good kick of having coffee at home again lately, so I wanted to share my. It's not even like a recipe, but I go through phases where I'm like Uber Eating Starbucks or like going to a coffee shop and spending like an absurd amount of money, and it's never not that good. But like I have my like at home recipe like so good right now.
What is it?
It is just the Starbucks blonde roast, which you can get from like any grocery store in a like it's just plain like just black coffee. And then I use the Califia brand almond milk. This time I got the extra creamy one kind of by accident, but it's delicious. So maybe I'll use that for now on. And then I use whipped cream on top to create that like replicates like a cold foam. It really does because it starts to melt.
That's so wow. You just hacked the system,
right? Because so in the beginning you're like, this is totally like it's like whipped cream straight up, but like give it like 5 minutes and it starts to settle and it like goes into the drink and does the same thing that like a foam would. Yeah.
Do you have a coffee maker?
I have an espresso.
So you can put so you have like the Nespresso blonde pods.
I don't use it in this recipe.
But how do you use the blonde coffee?
It's like Starbucks like iced coffee in a jug.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying?
Understood.
Like it's all fridge ingredients.
I forgot you're an iced coffee girl.
Yeah,
yes,
I know. I'm always iced. I just really can't get behind the hot. I never find the perfect temperature to drink it out. I've tried the Ember mug. I think it's great, but like it's hard for me.
No, I mean if you enjoy, like I used to only be iced, and now I'm like in this hot to start the day. But that makes way more sense. I missed that.
You get it. You
get it. I get it.
The ones who get it. So, anyways, it's great. Really like that. Trying to think what else I was going to say about it. It's just once you get a recipe that you like, I feel like I used to see it as like, I don't want to say a punishment, but I'd be like, oh, like I've been spending so much money, I have to drink my coffee at home today or whatever. And it just in my brain it wouldn't taste as good. But like once you like play around with like what you like, it does, And
I've always just loved the act of making coffee. I think the scent, the like just pouring and just like doing all the things. Like now you have your little cold foam situation. I think it's so fun. And I just got a little frother too that you can like put in and mix.
I have a froth. It's like I go through phases. Like I'll create recipes and sometimes I will use my espresso and do hot lattes or cappuccinos or whatever. But in this case, this is just it's my fixation of the few weeks and then maybe
fixation of the few.
Yeah. And then I'll switch it up.
I like that.
I like to do that where I like focus on one thing or I'll be obsessed with like one order at one place. I had a kava moment and like now I'm on my iced coffee moment.
I'm on my iced coffee era. You're always in your iced coffee era. I guess you're doing matcha for a second, so I stand corrected.
It just has to be something.
Flippin' floppin'. Wow, this was a really good intro. I hope you guys got some good laughs, sweetie. And no roast.
Wow, Danielle the comedian. She really just like the punchline was just slipped in there.
I don't know why I was thinking about that, but we love you guys so much. We're going to head on into our interview with Emma. It was so fun. I'm so excited for you guys to get to know her more. We actually learned a lot about her in this episode.
Go check it out. Well, you just keep listening.
Yeah, I guess you guys will just keep listening, but we're going to go now. Okay.
Love you guys. Bye. guys. We are here now with Emma. Hi, Emma. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Welcome to the studio.
Welcome. We are so beyond thrilled to have you here. It's been almost 3 years of working together, right?
Yeah, I was doing the math earlier. I was trying to think of like how long it had been. I was like, wow, it's been a long time.
So crazy. Well, why don't we start at the very beginning? I mean, we'll have already introed you and everything, but like a little bit about what you do, not just for us, but for other clients. Like, how do you describe yourself? Because you're so much more than just like an artist. You're like a true creator, like
You're creative. You are ESM creative.
What does that mean, though?
So I own a creative studio called ESM Creative Studio. I think that everyone has a different name for creative studio, just a way of one way of labeling it. But I think everyone kind of basically, I'm a freelance graphic designer. Is like the gist of it, but I have someone on my team that does web design, and I'm just hiring someone that does, it's gonna be like a content, help me stay on the trends of,
cool.
Yeah. So it's not just me, it's gonna be like I'm trying to build out like a little team. Yeah, but yeah, so we do like graphic design, illustration, and branding is like kind of like the pitch, the elevator pitch of what ESM Creative is.
I love it. Before I met you, I hadn't really met someone because now I've seen like a lot of accounts. Like after I met you though, I feel like you were on the earlier side, like all these creative accounts.
Yeah, I feel like COVID, like part of like the COVID, like everyone being at home, like a lot of people got creative. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there was a lot of people that like started illustrating with like iPads and started like playing around with Procreate and started yeah. So there's a lot of like people that would like illustrate celebrities and like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I feel like those creative accounts became more popular.
Totally.
And honestly, when I started ESM Creative, so a lot of people don't know this, but it's actually, so ESM is obviously my initials,
right?
But it's also my mom's initials.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And when my mom is an artist, so when we used to do like paint and make cards, or like every holiday card was homemade in my house. Like we had like an art room, and we like did a lot of creative stuff growing up, and we always signed it ESM2 because we were like with a little squared. So that's what originally my name was, ESM2.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. And I changed it because I felt like it looked like it was like ESM was already taken. So I changed it.
Fair enough.
I never saw it that way. I see what you mean though. It's like, it's like,
so I changed it when I was like, but originally it was like kind of named after me and my mom.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Me neither.
Yeah. So when I started, because I started an Instagram as that creative Instagram kind of like that everyone was doing honestly, I started in college because I couldn't afford to like put on like websites are expensive, especially when you're in college, like that per month price, you have to, and also figuring out a website and all that. Mm-hmm. So Instagram was the easiest way to just kind of put out a portfolio and work.
Totally.
Yeah.
How did you get into, we'll get into like how you started working for us, but how did you get into this like period? Like, because in college you were...
What was your major? Remind us.
So I started as biomedical engineering.
Oh. Very related.
Yes. See, you can just go down any path, you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to use your major in college.
Definitely not.
But so I started at biomedical engineering, and I started doing creative work, playing around in Photoshop, aka like just as like a creative outlet from doing engineering and doing like biology and stuff like that. So I switched from biomedical to biochemistry because I figured like I didn't want the engineering side of it, but I still like the science side of it, and I wanted to go pre-med.
Wow.
Yeah, and I started doing design work, and I found like a passion for it. So I actually I had a mid-college crisis.
Yeah.
And I went to a career counselor, and I did a test or whatever, and they were like, marketing might be a good fit for you. So I was like, and I went to USC, South Carolina, and so we were rivals.
Yes. Yeah, y'all beat us one time. I do remember.
And I was here when that happened. It was fun time.
Oh yeah, I bet. Good odds.
The one and only. But yeah, so I was changed to marketing from engineering because our school didn't have like a graphic design major. They had something called VisCom, which I think is similar to what you guys had at your school, like visual communications. Yeah, it was like maybe in the journalism school.
Oh,
so
cool.
And at that point I had only just been like kind of dabbling in graphic design, so I thought that marketing might be more of like a better career path that I could like, because it was in the business school and all that. So anyway, I ended up graduating with a degree in marketing and a minor in biology and chemistry. So
wow.
So helpful down the road.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. So you graduated college, And you knew from then the get-go you wanted to work for yourself?
So I had started working for you guys. I think it was my
You were
junior
in college.
Yeah, my junior
Oh,
year
yeah.
of college. It was like the end of junior year. And my first client, quote unquote client, in school had been my yoga teacher. I bartered yoga classes for graphic design.
You're so smart, I swear.
I did like
This is great advice though for people
Yeah,
who are like
no,
looking
starting local and starting with people that are like in your community. And she was the best because she was so embedded in my college town community, and like college towns are the perfect places because it's small and like people know each other, and like so she knew a bunch of other small business owners. So like she like gave me other people, and I think I was charging like it was like $10 an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, back like when I first like in college, I didn't even know that I could like that freelancing was. I know like I don't know why I just didn't like
You didn't think it was for you.
Yeah,
Like you didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah. And so my senior year, between junior and senior year, I interned in New York City. And so I knew I wanted to move here. And I also have been with my boyfriend since we were 15.
They're so cute, you guys.
Oh, so cute. What a true love story.
I know.
And he's a year older, so he got a job here. So I knew that I wanted to come here and I wanted to be in the city. And obviously here, it's the best
Here
place
you are.
ever. Here we are. Yeah, so I actually applied my senior year, like with full intent of getting an actual, quote unquote, actual job. And I applied and I got offers back for like, I just was like blown away by how little the like starting offers were. And I had kind of built up, thanks to you guys and working with you guys, like a pretty small, like little side hustle. And it was during my senior year of college. So like I was balancing like life and finishing school, and I had a pretty packed schedule because I was making up for transferring majors so late.
Oh, right.
So I only was working like, I don't know, like probably like 5 to 10 hours a week on like freelance projects. So, excuse all my
No, we love a hand talk.
Literally me with finger guns. If you guys are watching the video, then you know.
then you know. But yeah, so it was the pressure of getting offers from like these jobs that were like, I was like, I think I could make that money on my own. So I was lucky enough that I knew I was moving with Andrew. Because if I was moving here on my own, you have to move as we've talked about.
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys have talked about this. Moving to New York is like impossible. Like you have to have like proof of income, and just it's hard to just get up and move unless you find like a sublease and all that kind of thing. So, but I gave myself 6 months of working for myself because I had worked in food and bev, and like I had like kind of jobs like that, and I was like, if I need to, I can get like a job at like a coffee shop or a host or something like that.
That's
like
a great
restaurant.
mindset to have.
Yeah, like 6
being
months
flexible and being like willing to adapt and
Yeah.
be like, hey, like if this isn't working, like I think that's always such a good mindset to have.
Yeah, and we were also the three of us were, well, Danielle kind of got the hit of COVID, but with college, but we were pretty. Brooke and I are the same age, and we were pretty lucky with the timing that we moved here. We had like. Well,
No,
out
but
of
I had
college.
a little bit in Boston though.
That
But yeah.
it wasn't like I was able to network versus like people nowadays that are coming out of college. I feel like there's not as much networking stuff, but like I would go to networking events like 3 days a week when I first moved here because I was working myself, so I made my own schedule. So if it meant like going to networking event, like I would go to networking events from like 6 to like at night, and I'd work in the day, or I'd go to like a more like there was a lot of like breakfast, or like there's some that were like 6 or 7 a.m. because they were like meant for people before work.
How did you find these for people that might want to try it out?
Assembly is a great like.
Okay. Is it a website?
Yeah, it's like I don't know how to describe Assembly. It's like they teach like classes if you're wanting to learn graphic design. They teach like they're pretty expensive, but they're like intensive like graphic design or UX UI classes or things like that. But I just signed up for like a ton of like newsletters and different things like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I just threw myself into networking, and I joined a co-working space so I could like I met a lot of people through the co-working space. That really helped me get into like actual businesses and not just like working for people that had like their own brand. But yeah, I kind of just threw myself into it, and yeah, I was lucky enough to make it I really did like put myself into it, but I was able to make it a full-time job. Yeah.
So impressive. You have such amazing drive. Like, guys, we will be having meetings with Emma, and she's like, oh, I know this person, or we could do this. I'm like, how do you have all these ideas? She's so willing to reach out to absolutely anybody. Like, you always know somebody.
Yeah.
Like, clearly your networking paid off.
You were the original girl boss town. I'm sorry, I have to like literally say that. Not she's great too, but like you were doing that for us like for the longest time now. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
No, I think I wanted to say something that I think is like a useful tip for anyone if you're trying to design or podcasting or anything, when you said reaching out to people, like when I first started out, I did a ton of like, I would on my to-do list every day, I'd put reach out to 5 people, and I'd reach out to 5 people on Instagram, and I'd pick like sometimes I really knew I wanted to work like with people that worked in food.
Okay.
So I would go and like find food bloggers and things like that some of them, like some people that I did this to, I still work with like now.
So it works.
Yeah, it does work. And with TikTok, when TikTok like first was picking up, I was doing it purely with like people that were on TikTok, because a lot of people on TikTok didn't have branding because they were like kind of accidental like audiences. So I would reach out and be like, hey, like if you ever need like a website or branding, and like they might not have reached out then, but like they remembered me and like would reach out like 3 months later when they're like, oh, I actually do need a website, like kind of thing. And back like in 2019, I was reaching out saying that gifts were like big, like having like custom gifts on Instagram stories.
Yep. She's made ours, guys.
Yep.
So if you ever want to search GOTG, not Guardians of the Galaxy, but
yeah, there are some Gals on the Go ones there.
You know that?
Yeah, there's also Guardian of the Galaxy, but
That's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, no, mine is like when you search ESM, because I have some for mine. I think it's like a cleaning company, so there's like gifts of like women sweeping and stuff. And like, what?
I mean, nothing's original anymore.
No,
like every name has to have another.
But yeah, so I'd reach out and be like, hey, like I'd love to work with you. Like, here's an idea. So I think that like having like an ask or an offer when you're reaching out to someone, instead of just being like, I do graphic design, like like I'd love to work with you, like being like, I do graphic design and here's an idea I have, or I saw that you have a podcast, I'd love to do this, or having like something that you actually like offer and give them like something to respond with.
I mean, that's why we started working with you.
Yeah. And do you want to tell the full story of like, I don't even know this actually, like did you listen to our podcast, or did a friend, like how did that reach out happen?
I was really into podcasts, and I think that because I think back then I don't think Spotify had podcasts. I think I was listening on Apple Podcasts, and I think I listened to like similar genre of podcasts, and yours came up as like a recommended.
Oh wow.
So, and the first episode I listened to, you guys were asking for cover art.
Yeah, we talked about it. I
Yeah.
remember saying
It was like in our first or maybe second episode.
It was like second episode.
First,
yeah. And I wrote out like a whole like, here's I can do a cover art, but also like I really love podcasts, and here's like what other people are doing, and I like recommended like Instagram and a Facebook page, and
then
like,
you gave it and you made the cover basically.
Yeah, I made like
you're
a
like, I'm
test
thinking
cover.
something like this, and it was like the bones of it, but enough that we were like, because we put it out there, we said it. If you guys go back and listen to whatever episode this is, we were like, hey, we're looking for a graphic designer. So we had a ton of people, and we weren't explicit at all with what we were asking for, to be clear. But most people sent a cover letter or a resume, like the typical stuff. Emma's the only one that sent an example of like, here's something I made for you guys.
Yeah.
And
I didn't have like a resume because I was so fresh into design. I didn't have like a portfolio, or I'm hiring right now, as I mentioned. And for that, I want people that were like me, where I didn't have the money to put into a website. I didn't have the time to put into I had a Google Drive. I would send people with like links to work that I had done. And so that's why I think it's important to like be flexible with like the first, because it's a lot to have to put out. And also a lot of times when people are coming out of designs, like if they went to school for design, their portfolio is just full of like projects for school.
Their school projects.
Yeah. So, and that doesn't really show like, I mean, yes, it shows creativity and it shows your ability to like execute like on Illustrator, but it doesn't show like your ability to like your generation and like,
yeah, you have to have your own ideas.
Yeah.
Like you can follow instructions and everything, but I feel like a lot with graphic design, because it's not Brooke and I's strong suit, and we'll text you and be like, hey, we want to do something for this merch, or we want to do something for this graphic, and you honestly come up with the idea and like talk to us. We'll be like, okay, I know we want cell phones involved, and like
don't
pizza.
even know what we want, and then you'll send it and we'll be like, wow, we didn't even realize that like
that's
like on the path that we're going down, or like we change, like you create the vision really, which is so huge, and you just get it. Like I think that's why it just worked. So we didn't have any idea. I mean, this was when Danielle and I had no idea like where the podcast was going or anything, but we knew we wanted someone who just kind of got it. And I think that's a great way to network, especially in nowadays. Like of course with corporate jobs, I know like the resume, the cover letter, like that's super important stuff. But if you're pitching yourself, so many people are like, I want to work for a YouTuber. Literally send them an email and be like, hey, I created this reel for you. I created this edit for you. Like to take the initiative, and I know it's going to take you a little bit of extra time, and like it might be wasted time. Let's be real. Yeah. But someone
or
will
even just
bite.
Ideas. Like I think that if you don't necessarily want to put the time into like an actual like piece of work, like putting out like, okay, like I know that you're trying to get into fashion or something like that. Here's like some ideas that other creators are doing, or like proving that you know the space really well too. Like with you guys, like I knew I was at junior in college.
You
I knew
were
the
our
podcast,
demographic,
but yeah, I was your demographic, and I had listened to a lot of podcasts, and like I knew like what other podcasts were doing that were also like, because you guys were some of the first like influencer YouTube like people to create a
Thank you.
Thank you very
you
much.
really
This
were.
is true.
No, truthfully, you were like on the forefront of like influencer podcasting, and I feel like the podcasts that were before you, people had become influencers from podcasting, but like influencers themselves hadn't made podcasts. So I feel like it was like this like weird kind of like, how is this gonna do, like where is it gonna go? And like a lot of the people that were podcasting back in this was 2018, I guess, really, when you started, right?
2018, my sophomore
year. 2018. It was more people that had kind of like podcasting wasn't a business yet, so like you kind of like had to figure it out along the way. So it's been fun to like see how it changes. And
I know, it's so crazy because so like we were saying, we initially were just looking for cover art. You sent us it, and I remember immediately calling Brooke and be like, this is so sick, like we have to have a follow-up with her, this is awesome. You created it was actually our last cover, but now that a lot of you guys have probably seen, and now we've kind of updated it, and Emma also made this new one when I moved to New York. We did the New York City rebrand for the cover, but then I don't remember exactly how it all went down, but all of a sudden you're helping us with our episode graphics and merch, and we were like, okay, so this girl, she's on the team, like
no, 100%. You're all, I mean, it's so crazy that it started out as like, hey, like we just need a cover, and it really like developed into like this full, and it shows that it can for anybody, you know, with any sort of relationship. And just you're so good at networking, and we talked a little bit about that, but what are your biggest, but I feel like you don't go into it like ferociously like I'm pro networker, and it's
what I like about
you're so successful, because you genuinely care about people, and you're a people person. And do you consider yourself an extrovert, right?
Yeah, I'm an extrovert. Yeah, I'm an extrovert. Yeah, and I think it's so funny because I was actually just talking to a friend. I went to a birthday party, and one of my friends was like, you know, so many people, and I genuinely have an interest in like learning. I think that's where it stems from. It's not just like I need to know these people for work, but like I'm working redoing my website right now, and I'm writing copy, and I'm working with a copywriter because writing is not my strong suit. And as you guys know,
neither it's not mine either.
And and his questions have really like, I don't know, it's been like he's almost like
prompted you
he's almost like a therapist / copywriter.
I love it.
And he's like, what drives you? And I was like, it's truthfully like the people that I get to work with. Like I love creating graphics, and I love creating beautiful things, and I love like creating an aesthetic within like a brand and things like that. But like I love being able to like create image, like create like the visual identity of someone's like personality, and like their and also with like a brand, and with like branding in general. And same with what we get to do with you guys with like doing creative direction for photo shoots and things like that. But going back to networking, I think that is why I like networking, because I actually really like learning about people and like why they do what they do, and how their story, and you know, all that kind of thing. And I have like a script, not really like a script, but kind of like a script for my intro calls with clients, when like a discovery call. And the first thing I say always is like, tell me about yourself, like give me an overview about you, because I love to hear why they're doing what they're doing, and like why, you know, how they found me, and why they chose to work with me, and that kind of thing. I think that I really do like learning like about people.
I would agree with that about you. Like I feel like you always like you ask a lot of questions in like a very like curious, like open-minded way, which I think is so great.
Yeah.
Do you have trouble with time management? I mean, I already know the answer because I feel like you're so always put together, but you have so many things going on. I mean, you organized a retreat, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about that too?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, I could talk for time management. I honestly, I'm really unorganized with my time, and I think I just have found a system that like works for me. I recently got a timer. My friend's a Montessori teacher.
Oh, I went to Montessori school.
Oh, there, yep. And so you probably know these. They're like visual timers. So they have like you turn the knob and it has like the time. And I've started like timing myself with tasks. But
time blocking.
Yeah, so time blocking. I do this thing where I do like 2 days a week where I have meetings and create content and do things like for like my brand, and then 2 days where I don't have any meetings and I just work all day. So like those are like creation days kind of thing. And that's really helped with like time management, especially creating your own schedule. And then also just like having I use Notion for like to-do lists and things like that, and that's really helped with like creating a log of ideas, because like sometimes when especially like you guys are the same way, where you have like multiple streams of like creativity, that you have like these ideas for like YouTube videos, or you have these ideas for a podcast topic, and like you might write it down in your notes in your phone, but then you never go back to it. So I found that like having like a bank for like, for me, like things that I'm like, oh, I should do this one day, I have like a to-do list that's like today, tomorrow, and someday.
I love that.
Genius.
Yeah.
And
it
this
helps
is on Notion?
Yep.
Okay.
And it helps so much. And then also you can sort them. You can add tags. So like for you guys, you could do, or for anyone, you could do like if you're in school and work or something like that, or podcast and Instagram or YouTube, you can tag it that way. And in Notion, you can sort it by the someday, today, and tomorrow, or you can sort it by like Instagram, YouTube, podcast.
Wow. So do you have that for all of your different clients too?
Yeah.
Like the Gals in the Go tab or whatever?
Yep. Yeah. So I have a Gals in the Go tab. I don't have a ton of like recurring clients like the way I have with you guys. So I don't have it set up for a lot of people, but I have like for like my branding clients, I have like a system set up in Notion, and I just like copy that tab for each client kind of thing. But
Sorry guys, my LaCroix.
ASMR.
But yeah, I think that like, I also think that there's a big thing with like systems like that you have to like setting up ahead of time, but also not like beating yourself up if you don't have it figured out perfectly, and just kind of like figuring out and editing as you go. Like it's the same thing with anything. Like I feel like if you want to start doing graphic design, if you want to start a podcast, you kind of just have to dive, like you have to start.
in.
Yeah. And just, it doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat. Like I think there's like kind of, it's fun to see yourself like grow. Like if I go back to my 2018 Instagram posts, I'm like, oh no.
No, but it's all, I mean, we did that about our outfits, you know, but at the time, like that's what you felt good about. And it's all, like you said, you just have to dive in and you learn along the way.
Who knows? I mean, I hope you don't feel this way, but I'm sure even though you're getting better and better, like you'll probably look back at this one day and be like, oh, I can't believe I did that style. Or, I feel that way.
I look back at 4 months ago and I'm like, what was this? Like, yeah.
But that's especially your job. I think you're constantly growing and changing and adapting new skills and like methods of right?
And finding your style. Yeah. And especially for me, right now I'm really trying to get more into illustration. I really want to get like more editorial illustration clients. So like, for example, like in a magazine, like how there's like an illustration at the top of like an article. I want to do more of that. Or like there might be illustrations like within the top and kind of like within pieces or things like that. And finding an illustration style that's like unique and that's like, I'm working on that. I do a daily design practice, which is another designer, that's like her coin term, and I took her like master class on it, but I set a timer, my little timer, for 15 minutes every morning, and I like illustrate or like, or I draw or I work on like something.
Wow.
Yeah. So to try to like hone in on that skill.
So creative.
Do you have a mentor or anyone you look up to? Or like that, like when you first started doing this stuff, was there anyone that you like saw what they were doing and you're like, I want that to be my job one day? Or is that a good question?
I think not within design, but within, I try not to follow actually a ton of graphic designers.
Smart.
So I think that you can get like,
inspired.
Yeah, you get like your head in the weeds. Yeah. I follow like a good bit, but my feed is mostly like, I follow like a lot of photographers, and I follow a lot of like interior design accounts and things like that. Yeah. So like still pretty on my like work Instagram. But I still follow like some designers, but I find that if you like your whole feed's that, you're always, it's not even only copying people, it's also like you'll always be like, oh my god, look what they're doing, like I'm not doing enough kind of thing. Like that imposter syndrome kind of feeds its way into like, of if you're like constantly being surrounded by other people that are doing exactly what you're doing. So but I have, through my old co-working space, I have a lawyer, a friend that's like a lawyer, and a friend that started an incubator. And they're both like 40 something. Is pregnant, and one has like 3 kids. And so they're like that age range. And they both were like incredible with because when neither of my parents own a business. Like I didn't have anybody that was like, I didn't have a family lawyer. Like I didn't have anyone I could reach out when I was like actually setting up like an LLC and all that kind of stuff. And so they were really huge with that actual leg of like figuring out like that kind of side of things. And then for like design wise, there's this one designer I love. She has a completely different aesthetic than I do. Her name's like, I think it's Sarita Walsh. I think that's her handle. Her icon on Instagram is like a little smiley face. But yeah, she does coaching now, and I just love the like lifestyle she's created for herself. She's in Thailand right now, like
Wow.
on like a, like working in Thailand. Like no, she just is like this like lifestyle. Her work is like her life isn't for work. Her like work is like, I don't know. I just like
Her
mindset.
mentality.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know how old she is. I think she might be like mid to late 20s, I think.
Okay.
So she's like, she's a little bit older than me. So she has kind of like I feel like she's figured out like a system. And I think she might have worked like corporate for a while before she went freelance. I don't know a ton about her actually, but I don't know. She just, everything she like, her mindset and a lot of her graphics revolve around like mental health and like work-life balance and like, I don't know.
That's great.
She's really neat. Yeah.
I imagine it can get a little, I mean, I haven't really heard of you saying much about it, but like there can be potential drama between graphic designers because it's like, oh, you copied me, or oh, like, I don't know. Have you ever run into that?
Inspiration
Yeah,
from, it's like,
yeah.
where do you draw the line of like,
oh,
hey,
well,
I did something like that, or even like you have multiple clients, like managing like, I did something similar for that. Like, is it hard to keep track in your brain?
Yeah, I think that it's also hard because like when I present a set of logos to a client, if I've like in love with the logo and the client's like, oh, I don't want to use this, like
You're gonna use it for someone.
I want to use it for someone else, but
Yeah.
like sometimes it's, you know, if it matches too much. But yeah, I definitely like lately I've actually been creating logos that are like very different, like but different than each other. There was like a period, like especially during COVID, there was like COVID was like a time of everyone was like,
everyone started their own business.
oh my god, it was crazy.
Probably great for you.
Yeah, it was a light in the darkness.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that that was like a period where there was a lot of people that were creating like personal branding. So everyone wanted like the on trend, you know, like, and I have a client that I like work with regularly, and I did her branding then, and she wanted like very on trend, and now we just had a coffee like 2 weeks ago, and she's like, yeah, I should have listened to you. It's like a little bit too trendy, and now I wish like I had, you know, kind of thing. And so I think it's like easy to kind of stick with the trends and like and make things that kind of all look like everyone's looks right now. And but in like, you know, in 6 months you're gonna wish you had something else. And I think it's fine for like graphic designers to kind of like, there's a lot of graphic designers like change their aesthetics with like the times, and like that's fine because you're a graphic designer and you can change your logo. But if someone's investing thousands of dollars into like a branding suite, I don't want them to have to like, you know. So I try to in
Push
my
them
like
in the right
yeah
direction.
and in my like brand strategy consultations and all that, make sure that they're also not just branding something because they like the way it looks, but branding something that like will attract their target audience and fit their messaging and all that kind of thing. So yeah, and that's something I had to learn along the way because I definitely at points I made things that were just pretty.
So in a branding suite, you don't have to go too in depth, but just like general, like when someone comes to you, I want to, you know, do some branding for a personal business, whatever it may be. Like, what does that include? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So I have 3 packages of branding suites, and I found that works really well because I do have like a mix of I don't want to niche down. Like I like working kind of like a variety of people. So I have people like you guys that are looking for like more personal branding and like that it's going to, you know, be on their YouTube banner or going to be on their newsletter or going to be, you know, things like that, email signatures and things like that. And then I like actual like small businesses that are, you know, like have products or, you know, or is a restaurant
Services
or
something.
yeah, a physical place or something like that. So my packages are geared towards people that might fit those different people like places. So the smallest package is like a personal branding package, but every one includes a primary logo, which is like, so for Gals on the Go, that's like the one that's on the podcast cover.
Right.
A secondary logo. So for us, that might be like the one that's on the mic or
Like a little initial or like smaller.
or the G heart. That's more of like a brand
the
mark.
mugs are right there, baby.
Yeah.
And then alternative logos. So for a lot of like a lot of brands, like it's good to have, say that your logo is really stacked. Like for example, like the one that's like the stacked logo, like it's valuable to have a horizontal logo so it fits in like different places and you can use it different areas and things like that. So also, so you're not putting the same logo everywhere, that
Makes
it's not
sense.
getting like overused. So yeah, so it kind of, there's like a varying amount for each brand. And then brand marks, which are like, I like to call them like little stamps. So like little fun, like our taxi and
like little things that could add to your brand.
yeah, exactly. That are like recognizable to the brand, but not like the logo.
Love that.
Yeah. And then patterns are also a big part of it. So creating like patterns that are unique to that brand so they can use them, you know, in different places. And I like to make sure that when I'm doing branding suites, I give my clients the tools to actually create things on their own. So most of the time I'll upload all their logos and colors and things into Canva, so that they'll be able to actually execute creating designs on their own and not just be like stuck with me. If that makes
Nice.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Do we want to hop into some audience questions for Emma?
Yes, so many people have a lot of questions about you and your life
I know,
and
a lot-
working
a
with
lot have
us.
come in.
Okay. So,
Ooh, let's start there, because I bet people want to know about like the team of it all and working with us, and we've been working together for a lot of years. So
Yeah.
what would you say? I know this is a selfish question because we're asking about ourselves.
I know,
we
just
can-
pretend it's a third party asking you
Yeah,
this
I know.
question.
What is the best thing about working with? And this person did like the twinkle emoji, the gals twinkle emoji.
I think that like we've been able to like kind of, I've been able to like grow with you guys has been really fun. Like, I mean, when we started working together, I was like just starting doing design work. So it's been really fun to like apply things as I learn. Like I learned web design and we made your website, and like, you know, learning along the way and growing. And then also just being able to be part of like the whole picture. Like there's not a lot of clients that I work with. I would like to work with clients like that, but where I get to do like photography and graphics and like doing it all, like
Photo
that
shoot design, like you help us
Yeah.
with literally everything from like
Yeah.
you know, you do the merch design, but then you'll be like, but I want the like I'm thinking the photo shoot will look like this, like
we should do red balloons.
360.
Or,
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, the 360. That's exactly it. It's really fun to be part of like the whole picture. And that even though that title makes me like, I feel like imposter syndrome sneaks in, but
No, you
feeling
really,
like-
you literally are the creative director
Yeah.
of Gals in the Go. Like that is what you are.
You are.
yeah, it's really fun to be able to do the whole shebang.
It's so crazy. I mean, I was just like recapping everything in my mind of the things. Like you've made my birthday invitation. You've made my email signature. You've done our like banners.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much because you truly are 360. Like even like sometimes if it's just like I need something or Brooke needs something, we'll like work with you on the side. Or like, I mean, the amount of times we'll meet up and just like have brainstorm
Yeah.
sessions.
You've
Those
done
are my
my
favorite.
Parents' parties invitation.
Oh, yeah, that was really funny,
yeah.
So and everything, because we already have a relationship, which is like so
Yeah.
nice. I mean, people can work with you, I'm sure, for the one-off stuff, but it's so much more meaningful and special to work with someone like after
Yeah.
you foster a relationship, to be
Yeah.
like, hey, I have this crazy idea, because then like we could talk through it, and like you could, you know, be like, hey, I could put my twist on it. Like your brain just goes in a totally different direction than I feel like mine when I come to you, or even Danielle's, you know, because
Yeah.
we see things through like the influencer lens or whatever. But you're like, oh, that we could take this in a whole new
Yeah, you just
direction.
know us so well. That's
Yeah.
the one good thing, I guess, about fostering. I like that word.
Yeah.
The relationship is you like remember stuff that we've said. Emma has a list on her phone of things we've said on the podcast for potential merch in the future. Like how iconic.
She's genius.
Yeah, no, it's really fun and it's also fun from my perspective to like be able to do that and grow like with you guys, like to be able to build a relationship with you that to the point that we have that list and like that we can you know continue to like it's fun. It's a unique, I don't think a lot of like designers that don't do like retainer. I think a lot of like social media managers kind of get that relationship because they work with people over time, but it's fun to be able to
I love it. Next question.
Okay.
What platforms does she use to edit?
um
So that could be like, you know, different.
I think they
for
probably
different
mean
things.
they probably mean the graphics for
Graphics,
for the new episodes. I just do them on in Adobe. Yep.
Photoshop?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
In
Or Illustrator? Is
I
that
do
what
the
it's called?
graphics for I do all logo design in Illustrator, but I do the graphics for the episodes in Photoshops because I edit the photos sometimes, things like that. So it's just easier to do it all there.
What are your thoughts on Canva? I saw someone said that you mentioned it
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah. I think I don't use it a ton for like my own designs, but I use it a lot for like giving clients ability to like actually use them, like what I've created. So I'll
work in
upload,
it.
I'll upload everything to Canva, upload the colors, and then when I do my final like call with the client, I'll do a walkthrough through Canva and show them like, okay, if you pick this template, here's how you here's how you change the
That's
colors,
perfect.
and here's how you change it to the brand fonts. And I also love showing them on Canva. You can search like illustrations and things like that, and you can find the Illustrator code. So like I'll help them find like 5 illustrators that I think fit their aesthetic,
Love.
so that they can then use those codes and
So you
search.
set them up for success. Oh my
exactly.
gosh, I love that.
Yeah,
And
it's fun.
Canva Pro you can edit, I know, in real time. This sounds like an ad, but
Yeah.
like that's the cool thing. I
No,
guess. So you
like,
could do it in,
yeah.
like a team style.
Yeah, like, and so say that like all of us were on a Zoom call and we wanted to like work on like a deck or something like that. We could all be on it and I could be like, okay, what do you guys think about this color?
Love.
And like it is really, the shareability is really, I think I should know this, but I think Adobe just launched something similar. I think they just did like a sharing, like you can send someone a file and they can like live edit or something like that.
Wow.
I need to watch like a video on it, but yeah, there's like a new button on the new update. just like share or something like that. I think they might be trying to keep it up with Canva.
How do you, so like you just said that, like, are you getting these news on like Instagram? Do you follow certain accounts? Like, where are you learning all this about tech?
I watch a lot of videos on Behance. I think that's how you say it. It's like Adobe's, it's almost like Pinterest kind of. It's like you can share your
Cool.
you share
Finished
like,
product?
yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And they do design lives, and like they do a lot of casting and a lot of like webcasts and a lot of like where people will literally like design a logo suite and record themselves and talk through like their ideas.
Love that.
Yeah. So it's really helpful for learning, they're learning like new techniques or learning like how to do something in a different way, because in Adobe and Canva and anything, there's 50 ways to do one thing, and like way one might take 20 minutes and way two might take 2 seconds. So it's like nice to kind of watch other people do stuff so you can see like how you might add a gradient or do something different in like a different way. But that's a really great tool to like learn.
Amazing.
That is so cool.
All right, we'll do one more question. What was the biggest game changer for your business?
And this comes from Steph.
Aw, Steph.
That's a great question. Like, was there a point? I know you said it was kind of slow build, and you were like, "Hey, I could do this after college." But like, I feel like in the most recent year, you've been
Crushing
next
at
level. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Honestly, when I joined that co-working space, when I first moved here, because it was people that were not just like people my own age. It was like I was working. The first person that hired me that was like had an actual business. I was like, okay, yeah,
I'm nervous.
yeah.
This is how I charge you.
Yeah,
You're
here's
like,
my proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it, though. Literally.
100%. Yeah. And also with price, just like one thing with pricing is you're just like, every time I was too busy, I raised my prices, and that's what I still do to this day. Like,
genius.
yeah. So every time I'm like, okay, and I've never had it where I've done it and someone's like, sorry, that's too expensive. Or like I did with this one guy one time, reach out to me for I don't work with a lot of men, just because I think my
They just
aesthetic.
don't approach you.
Yeah.
And I had this one guy, and I sent him my proposal, and he wrote back and he goes, no way, that's 4 3D printers. I was like, what? Like
That is 4
3D printers.
Like, what? That's so random.
Yeah. So now Andrew and I, whenever we're like out to dinner, he'll be like, that's a 3D printer.
That's so hysterical.
That's actually really funny.
So,
Yeah.
So how much is like 140 print?
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that it makes sense, but you're paying also. I used to think this stuff was so crazy too. When I found out how expensive like just services in general,
Yeah.
like getting your makeup done, getting even like a really professional haircut from like an expert, I'd be like, this stuff is so expensive. But you're paying not only for the finished product, but for the years and years of learning and how much knowledge that they have that you don't have. I mean, if you're outsourcing, you probably, I know for us, like we don't know how to do the things that you do, and that's why we pay the rates, and that's why we work with you, is because you're the expert in that, and we trust you.
Thanks, guys.
So I feel like that's the mindset you kind of have to
Yeah,
adapt.
no, totally. That's why I didn't hire a copywriter for forever, and I've been working on a new website for like 6 months. But I finally was like, I just need to hire a copywriter because I'm not a good writer. I just want an outside perspective, and like sometimes knowing your weaknesses and hiring out for those things is like something that will totally be a game changer
so true.
for your business.
We learned a lot
love
about
that.
outsourcing this year
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
Yeah, it's really helpful. I mean, I think that also it opens up your time to new avenues and new creative ventures that might be more profitable than like the time you spent doing that other thing. Yeah.
And someone might be able to do it better than you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know for me, like I'm not a good video editor. So if someone could edit my videos and make them look good and clean and professional, like then I have more time to film, And
Yeah.
same goes with graphics.
Yeah.
If we're promoting our episodes more, they're going to in turn get more downloads and then in turn more ad dollars. I mean, honestly, it's like it's a business cycle. Like
It's very true.
So we're all helping each other out here.
Exactly. It's so worth it. So if any of you guys are looking to do a new branding, Emma is your girl. Like she didn't ask us to say this, but it's so true.
And now this is an ad.
And now this is sponsored by ESM Creative. Ugh, Emma, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to, finally be here.
I know now you guys can put a face to the name. I mean, she's been in our vlogs and stories and stuff, but this will be a really good episode we can refer to if people are like, what's Emma all about? Because I feel like we always talk about you because you're so important to us and Gals on the Go. And just thanks for coming on.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye, guys.
Bye.